Camden, New Jersey. Where is Tawanda Jones? Tawanda deserves a standing ovation. Let's take
Camden, New Jersey.
CNN hero Tawanda Wawa Jones. Here you go. One of the real pleasures of this past week for me has been to meet Tawanda and her kids.
I saw the performance actually.
What'd you think?
I was very impressed. I'm actually going to send them some love and some goodies, and hopefully I'll get to meet them. I was very inspired by their story.
It's hot like wasabi. Picked up my answer, my calling. The make room, I'm an icon walking. Econo, I'm an icon. Econo, make room for an icon. Econo, I'm an icon. Econo, put your hands high for the icons. Put your hands high for the icon. Put up at the lobby, we don't pose up paparazzi. Got my squad, they all around me. We go out just like safari. Like an icon.
They know when I'm at the party. Wake up, it's hot like wasabi. Picked up, I answer my calling. And make room, I'm an icon walking.
Swag Radio. Swagger all day, baby.
Yo, 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 what's up, what's up, what's up? It's your boy Trainers on the Black Knight. Ashy Knuckles is in the building, you know what I'm saying? And I got the honor and the privilege and the pleasure to be busting up with my sister. I absolutely love this woman. Miss Green. Wow. What's up, baby? How you doing?
How are you? How are you? It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me, guys.
What's good with you, sis? What is good with you?
A little bit of everything, hon. Rebranding, all kinds of great things happening over here.
Yeah,
What
man.
would you like to know first?
You always working. We can't get you to rest, slow down, or take a break or nothing. You just keep going. You just the Energizer Bunny. What is that? The creator putting that energy in you, or what, do you feel like you can't stop, won't stop, like did he?
You know what? Well, it's definitely the creator. You know, he gives me these visions and I just run with it. And I thought I was going to be stopped, a few months ago, but, he gave me like, I want to say a third or fourth win,
Right.
So I'm ecstatic about that. I was, some challenging, health issues,
Yeah.
was diagnosed with congestive heart failure.
Mhm.
And some people look at it as a death sentence. I'm like, nah, that just means I got more work to do.
Indeed.
Change the diet, exercise, I was already on that kick. And but if he's giving it to me, I know it's okay to do it.
I know that's right. Because
So
I
many people
was
don't
I was
understand
worried
that.
and praying about you, but then when I talked to you, you had the attitude like, no, I'm all right, sweetie. I'm gonna be good.
Yeah.
I don't care what the doctors say. I don't care what nobody said. What the creators and me talked
Yo,
about is how it's
that
going to go.
spiritual connection is the most important thing. That is the center of my life. So I'm not doing nothing without that. So like I said, he gives it to me. So that's confirmation for me, to keep going.
And it's crazy. Some people say that, but you really live that way. You really mean it. I mean, I was on the phone.
I really do.
I was on the phone with you one time before, and I remember a gentleman, I guess he just got out the hospital or something. You just happened to be riding by me. He was on the phone talking about something, and you could tell that he was distressed or homeless or didn't have no food. And then you pulled over, and you had food for him. You gave him a number, somebody to call from, possibly to stay and everything. You just like a one stop shop, and it was just like, wow. And I'm sitting on the other end of the phone like, she just did that in front of me.
Wow, I remember that. But that's how things happen, and I don't believe in coincidences, you know what I'm saying? So I believe everything is aligned by, a greater power. So I guess you were supposed to be on the phone that time. That man was supposed to come to me at that point in time, and I was supposed to be a blessing, but many times in those awkward moments, the blessing comes right back to me. You understand what I'm saying? So I get something out of that as well. It fills me, it really fills me and it uplifts me to be able to be in a position to help no matter how big or small.
But how blessed was he that you actually had a jacket for him to wear, and you had
Right.
luncheons, and you had lunches in the back of the car already. You already,
Yes, I did.
yeah, you was able to put clothing on his back and food in his stomach, and that was crazy to me. I was like, wow, did that just
Yeah,
happen?
that's hilarious because I normally don't have all that stuff, unless I'm doing a
Right.
drill team and have kids with me or whatever. He just got me on a good day, right?
Speaking of the drill team, for a lot of people that don't know, I met this lovely young lady when we were kids, and she don't even remember because I used to go to my cousin's house on Parkside, and it was my cousin Louisa used to hang with a girl across the street named Wawa who did the cheerleader thing, and y'all was over there doing y'all cheers and everything, and me and my cousin Peter G was on the porch across the street watching y'all being boys, like look at that one, look at that, doing that. And that's when I met you. That's the first time I met you, way back then. And then for us to grow
Wow.
up and be adults and see that you was doing it, and then you turned it into something where you was taking kids off the streets or who had, trouble at home, broken families, and helping them with their homework and
Yeah.
everything like that. I was like, wow, she really about that. You know what I'm saying? So what made you keep it going though?
Because the need was here, in our city. I know that when I was coming up, a lot of kids were, people my age, they were getting pregnant, just being in a lot of mischief. I'm coming up during the 80s, right? And each generation, although advanced, it can get worse if nothing is there to occupy their time. So I felt the need to, and I had a lot of people make fun of me, like, why are you still doing this with these little filthy kids? Like, why
Right.
do you even care? Because there's a need there, and there was quite a few people that just stopped caring.
Hmm.
A lot of times we just normalize, oh, they just bad kids, I don't want to deal with them, and they're the ones I'm most attracted to.
Right.
I wasn't a bad kid, but I was somewhat of a little hell raiser. I wasn't a bully, but I wanted to fight the bully.
Indeed.
So when I saw some kids that just needed to be loved up on, it was just second nature for me to say, hey, you're going to be a part of me. They necessarily didn't even have to dance or play the drums or anything like that. You could just travel with us. And if
Hmm.
you wanted to travel with us, because I feel like that was the recipe of saving a child, just taking them out of their element for a while and seeing what else is out there besides this. You had some kids that never even been to Philadelphia. So
Right.
for me to take them out of state or out of the country, that's a wow factor. And I would take their parents as well, because I think that that support system, that village concept is so, important. So we would raise money to take the families as well, siblings, everyone.
And people found their talent. They found that they had talent. They had skills. They got to hear people instead of hollering at them, sometimes cheer for them, and that was
Oh
a
yeah.
beautiful thing. And that made them want to do better in school. And
Yes.
and you wouldn't deal with the kid. Well, not you wouldn't deal with the kid. You wouldn't let them participate if they wasn't working on their grades.
Oh no, yeah. They had to have we recently just went up to a B average. We were doing C average for so long, and they had to have 200 hours of community service. CSS originally started off as a step team.
Right.
And then it evolved into different styles of dance: tap, ballet, hip lay, jazz, lyrical, contemporary, praise dance. So whatever, we even ballroom dancing. Now you think of something like ballroom dance, you're like, kids from the hood don't want to learn ballroom dancing. But
Right.
if you add your little twist to it with some hip hop and teach them ballroom dance, oh, this is okay, this is a little hot here. You know what I'm saying? So you have to make it intriguing for them. But we always came up with creative ways to make sure that these babies were loving what they were doing. And because once they love it, that's going to be a trickle down effect. They're going to tell their friends, and their friends are going to tell their friends. And it's always been a success story for us, you
Well,
know.
since I have so many questions for you, because you're a very,
Okay.
very interesting person, how about
Okay.
let me first tell them what the name means,
Okay.
and about your background and music, because you're also a very, very gifted singer.
Oh, thank you. Well, the name of the organization is CSS, and that acronym stands for Camden Sophisticated Sisters. We have another entity, which is the boys. They're called the Distinguished Brothers of CSS. Those are the boys that dance or step. And we also have the Almighty Percussion Sound Drumline. That's self-explanatory.
Indeed.
So, we've meshed all of these girls and boys together and formed, Camden Sophisticated Sisters and the Almighty Percussion Sound Drumline. Um, to be a part of this organization, and it's so funny, although we have auditions and we put the kids through so much hell, right?
Hmm.
And then once they're a part of it, they're like, oh God, we made it. But no one never really looked at each other and said, well, dang, we all made it. Yeah, every last child makes it.
Right,
We
right.
just put them through that because nothing in life is easy. So,
Nothing. Nothing.
want to make it a little interesting for them. But yes, the whole process of them being a part of it, and it's like a whirlwind. And CSS had started from in the 80s, November the 12th, 1986. Do you know next year will be 40 years?
Wow.
Next year will
Wow.
be 40 years. That is insane.
You know how many kids now, adults, been through your program? I mean,
That's
alone,
right.
how many kids, guesstimation, how many kids you think went to college?
Well, sweetheart, it's been thousands. I have to go back and track, but I know for a fact we are well over 15,000.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, we're well over 15,000.
That is beautiful.
And that's any type of higher learning or trade school or whatever. We had 100% graduating rate since the
Beautiful.
children, been a part of the program. But one of the babies in particular, who's grown with 3 kids, and married and everything, Destiny. Her married name is Tally, former Destiny Bush. She actually wrote to CNN, and that's how I became a CNN hero. And it was just a trickle down effect. And this is how the kids got to be on Dancing with the Stars and Oprah,
That,
Steve Harvey, Beyonce.
that was
All
my
of them.
next question. I was going to ask you, did you think at any point at what you were doing that it was going to go from just a city thing to a state thing to the world knowing who you guys were, and then celebrities like Oprah and Beyonce joining in or trying to help push the envelope?
Absolutely not. But my mother said to me years ago, this was around, I'm going to say 2000. She said, I got a feeling these babies are going to go to Hollywood because they're that good. And I said, Hollywood? And I didn't doubt it, but I said, that's interesting. So when it came around, I said, oh my God, she prophesied that. I'm like, Hollywood, and the interesting thing that um, during the time, a really good friend of mine who was a journalist, she wanted to follow us to Dancing with the Stars, but her boss said that it wasn't newsworthy for for her to come. So she said she would use her frequent flyer miles.
Right.
And we said, if you go, you're gonna lose your job.
Get
She
out of
came
here.
anyway. She came anyway. So
Wow.
April Saw, I love you.
That name
Yeah,
sounds
she
familiar
came
too.
anyway. Yeah, she does a lot. She covers a lot of things here in Camden. And I remember we were coming down from our rooms, and I said, hey, you're still following us around? She said, yeah, but I have to leave for my flight. And I said, well, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. What time is your flight? She said 11 o'clock at night. And she's in the lobby. And I said, well, you can go in my room. She said, are you sure? I said, yeah, we family.
Right. Now
We've
that's
been we've
sad
been
though.
rocking ever since.
Why would that cost her job though? Why wouldn't kids doing something great or something beautiful like that not be newsworthy? Is it only when our kids doing bad things that's is
Yeah,
that
well, yeah, you have to look at it like that because we've always been in that like that stigma of nothing good comes out of Camden. Um, they treat our children like they're animals.
so it
You
goes against
know,
their narrative?
absolutely, absolutely. It goes completely against their narrative, and it's our job, my job, and everyone else. And thank God for you guys for this platform to change that narrative because there's a hell of a lot of great people that come out of Camden.
We so honored to have you here on our platform. You've been on how many shows and talk shows or whatever have you been on?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't I can't track it, but I've been on a heck of a lot. A heck of a lot of shows.
I think I was
Yeah.
brushing my teeth one day and you was on the daytime, one of the most popular daytime TV shows. And then I think later on that night I seen you on something else all in the same day. I was like, well, good, there go my sister. Go, go, go. God.
Yeah, it's important, and your platform as well. It's important to you can't assume that everyone knows about Camden Sophisticated Sisters. You have to keep yourself relevant. You
Right.
know, um, my I've been interviewing for PRs and things like that, and they were saying that like now we have to detach you from the brand. You are the brand, and they're a brand, and you just have so much going on. I'm like, okay, well, slow down. Let me focus on these babies. I know I'm getting older, and I'm doing other things as well, to keep my spark,
Yeah.
and Unfortunately, and I'm gonna try to say this without crying. We just lost one of our babies not too long ago. Her name is Esiayah Waheed.
Oh my God.
Um,
I knew you was gonna say her name. I knew you
yeah,
was gonna say her
due
name.
to due
That
to
was a
a
hurt
drunk
piece.
driver.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, she was actually she was my successor.
Right.
And we've always kept in touch from the time that she was in Texas at Wiley, and she went to Missouri, for a church retreat.
Yes.
She was actually converting from Islamic to Christianity,
Mm-hmm.
and we've been talking and talking and talking, and she was just the perfect person to be my successor. And
Wow.
they say if you want to hear God laugh, tell him what your plans are,
Yes.
because
All day, every day.
everything just shifted.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
God bless her and her family.
thank you.
Me and her aunt Camilla Waheed.
Oh,
Camilla Waheed.
yes.
Camilla Waheed we did music together. She was part of the label I was part of, and she's in my
Okay.
magazine. I
Yes.
produced music for her and everything. So me and Camilla Waheed are family. That's my sister. So when I heard the
Awesome.
news, I reached out to her and gave my condolences. And I just heard from my daughters and people that I didn't even know that was Camilla Waheed's niece at first, but I should have known
Yeah.
because of the last name. But my daughters and everybody was just telling me how amazing person this young lady was.
Oh, honey, out of 26 years on this earth, she's done way more than a lot of adults that I know. And they would compare her to me. I said, I don't know if we both got ADHD, because we would be all over the place. You hear me?
Right, right.
And it's like I would say something and this child would finish my sentence,
Wow.
and vice versa. And I said, this is divine. Like I there's nobody else.
Yeah, and
You know.
I seen the news clip that they had on her on TV. It made world news.
Oh yeah.
Made
Oh
world
yeah. That
news.
was very important.
Right.
We worked together, with the family, and to get mothers of drunk drivers out there, and it's not over. We do plan on going to Missouri and making sure, this man is punished to the fullest
Indeed.
extent.
Indeed. Indeed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So
definitely justice for Esiayah.
yeah. So as you was coming up in the so-called now I don't like to call it so-called because Camden does have is rough like any other so-called rough place, but they want to point that out instead of the beauty. What was growing up in Camden for you like?
To be honest with you, I was around the time, with that crack epidemic,
Mm-hmm.
drugs was on the scene. Everybody was fly girls, fly guys, the gold jewelry. I mean, it wasn't nothing like the 80s, but I tell you, where people thought that, there was such a dangerous time, I was always protected, you know. I don't want to make me seem like a good girl, because I fought like it was no tomorrow. But a lot of the corner boys, they would look out for me. You
Right.
don't belong out here around this time. Get in front of the house. Your grandmama
Indeed.
gonna be calling you soon. It was nothing but love, and it was more of a sense of community back then, because even though the guys were doing what they were doing, there was a respect factor when it came to women, children. This day and time, it's like, what's that?
I'm from that generation, so I agree with you wholeheartedly. And
Yeah.
I was considered a knucklehead back in my younger days. I was mad at the world, for whatever reason.
Uh-huh.
But we still had respect for Miss May
Yes,
or Miss Susan up the street.
absolutely.
We still had mentors, men who would say, "Listen, man, I got some work for y'all tomorrow. You want to come to work with me?" And like Pete,
Right.
we just buried one of my mentors, Pete
I'm sorry
Santiago,
to hear
just
that.
passed away. He used to take us fishing and all kinds of stuff, but he also used to teach us trades like carpentry and painting and everything, and he had us working all
Right.
summer. So that is missing. That's missing. So
Yeah.
we're blessed to have people like you that still carry on
Thank
that
you.
tradition and pass that torch and help.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's important. Even with school getting ready to, pop out. Like, it's always been important for me not just to deal with CSS. I'm the pop up queen. I'm popping up at kids' houses. At their if they go to church, I'm popping up at church. No matter where they are, popping up at schools. It's important to have that village, because sometimes mom and dad's job is just too demanding.
Yeah,
And I don't want to keep just saying just mom, because we had some dope dads as well.
yeah.
You
They
know what I'm
got to work
saying?
three. They got to work 2 and 3 jobs sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. So I want to be a part of that village, so they know that, Miss Wawa got you. I'll be Miss Wawa, Aunt Wawa, whoever you need me to be that day, to make sure that baby's getting what she needs. Because
Indeed.
all the time it's not that baby's. A lot of times it's the teacher. So just making sure that, that child has another listening ear, so that I can report back to mom what's going on.
Hmm.
Not trying to ever take mom's place.
Right.
but just making sure everything is good.
Well, they embrace you and they love you, man. I think they look at you as that second or that third parent that they need. And, and I'm pretty sure when the mothers and the fathers get overwhelmed, they don't have no problem calling your phone.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true, but sometimes it can get a little crazy, because you may
Okay.
have, especially if you have a new kid that's in there and the parent doesn't quite know how I operate,
Right.
so to speak. And it could come off as, well, who's this lady? She's doing way too much.
Right.
Yeah, well, that's a problem because we're not doing enough.
You're not doing
You
enough.
understand what I'm saying? We can't have these kids raising themselves or raising their siblings because
I
that
don't
happens a lot too.
I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, anybody in the neighborhood could spank you.
Yeah, well,
Anybody
yeah,
could.
uh-huh.
Anybody.
That was then.
Yeah, and then you think you're gonna go tell your mom, then she be like, "What do you do?" Then she gonna spank you. So it was best
Right.
that you said nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Right, that
and hope
part.
that they don't tell on you. You know what I mean? So that's definitely a big difference. Back then and now. But I appreciate how I came up. I appreciate all of the people that
Yes,
did
I
spank me
do.
and kept me out of
Yeah,
jail and things of that
right,
nature because it was with good intent.
right.
It was with good
Absolutely,
intent. It was
absolutely.
a
And what
village.
used to crack me up was like, this beating is going to hurt me more than it hurts you. I was like, how in the hell?
Okay. Yeah. Dude, what are you messing with me mentally right now?
Right.
You
A
playing
lot of
games?
emotional abuse.
Yes, yes. But one of the things I missed back in the day, and you guys are kind of like doing it now, the block party. That brought the whole
Ooh,
neighborhood together. And
yes,
everybody came out, people that didn't and do clean up day. Because before the block party, you had to clean the neighborhood.
that's
And that
right.
brought
That's
people
right.
together, man. It was just a beautiful
That's
thing.
right.
So you guys are doing something like that in what I like to call Camden's Black Wall Street out in Parkside, Hatton Avenue. So what's going on with that?
Yes. Okay. So that's the Hatton Avenue Street Festival. So I'm the founder of the Mass Melanin Market. And what I do is this happened during COVID. There was so much turmoil on social media. People didn't know, if they had jobs or when their next meal was going. People were literally selling things on their front lawn.
Right.
So God gave me this vision to come up with like a flea market, but I wanted to feel a little bit more upscale than a flea market. So I came up with this concept, the Mass Melanin Marketplace. As I was researching, I saw that there was melanin marketplaces like all over the world.
Right.
So I decided to name mine the Mass Melanin Market, being as though, COVID, because I want them to realize, why we started this. And during this time, it's unbelievable during a pandemic how much people were shopping.
Right.
We didn't even know what was going on. And they're like, so what? I still need these pair of shoes. Like, are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
But they made so much money. I had altogether, my database was 812 vendors.
Mm-hmm.
They made so much money that 13 of my vendors were able to open up their own brick and mortar.
On brick and mortar.
That's how successful it was. Now, mind you, it was also during a time where nobody was checking for permits or anything like that. I didn't care about none of that. I just wanted to help people to put food on the table,
Right.
and mission was
Because there was a lot of
accomplished.
people out of work.
Oh, honey. And it was so many people coming to shop. I mean, people started coming from, this was the crazy part. We had people that was coming from the Poconos just to vend, or
Wow.
New York, DC. And I'm like, wait, where are you from? So then I started tracking that. And I really wish Camden could have embraced it just a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try to revisit that because I still keep in touch with all of my market people. And so one of the cool things is I've collaborated with PBCIP, which is Parkside Business Community and Partnership.
Mm-hmm.
So I take care of all of the vendors. So all I do is say, hey, Mass Melanin Marketplace people, pull up right here. This is wonderful foot traffic. Last year we had Carl Thomas. This year we have Raheem Devon.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be amazing. They're going to make their money, line dancing, great food. And it's just a beautiful time. It's
Beautiful.
like a down south Black family reunion. Like,
What's
like.
those dates again?
September the 20th.
Right.
Yeah, September the 20th. The rain date is actually that following Saturday.
Uh-huh.
But thank God, out of all these years, we never had to do a rain date.
Nah, the creator shines the sun on you guys because you're doing something so amazing.
Yeah, God is good.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm loving
Resources
it.
is out there as well.
I'm loving it. And then after you do all of that, what we just talked about, then some stuff that we left out, then you find out, then you put together the best fashion show that I've probably been to in a very, very long time. And then followed up with another. What made you get into that? Is that something that you always been into?
To be honest with you, that was actually my first love. But I was told at a young age, I was doing a lot of sketching. I love fashion. And I was doing a lot of sketching, a lot of daydreaming in middle school. And when I told my mom, I said, I want to make clothes. She said, that's not a real job. You have to get a real job.
Right.
So anything my
You
mother
sound
said
like me
to
telling
was
my
like,
daughter. You sound like me telling my oldest daughter that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
anything my mother told me was like golden. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I kind of just put it to the back burner. Now, how it comes to fruition for me to actually live out my dream, someone called me out the blue, and only because they saw me organizing different events. And they asked me to be a project manager for New York Fashion Week. I said, wait, what? I said,
Right.
well, I do dance. They said, no, they've seen you do quite a bit and they really want you on the team. And I said, well, I'm gonna take this opportunity.
Right.
Mind you, I don't drive alone far. For me, New York is far to drive.
Right.
I got in my little hoorah and, and I drove there and threw some stuff in the suitcase because I said, how soon do you need me? They said, oh, today. I said, what?
Wow.
I said, okay, while she was talking, I was packing.
Mm-hmm.
I got there, and my boss was a complete, I don't want to use profanity.
Right. Don't worry, I'll curse
yeah.
enough for the both of us. I'll curse enough for the both of us.
He was a Albanian guy. He was and by the time I got done, he was so impressed. We ended up being great friends. And I said, I hate the fact that anything that we need to enjoy, whether it's recreational, whatever it is, we always have to leave our city to do it. So I want to bring everything that I experience and I feel as though I can bring it to my city. I'm going to bring it to my city.
I knew that's
so
right.
So the first show was on the Battleship. And everybody's like, well, how the hell?
Please explain the elements and the things that were available in the ambiance of this Battleship fashion show you had. Please.
Oh my God. Okay.
But let us go to a commercial first. I want you to let that bubble in your head. And then when we come back, please let them know how special this Battleship fashion show was. Because I was in awe. And I go to fashion shows all the time. All right, we'll be right back. Swag Magazine, baby.
Tyson knows he's got him in big trouble. If he doesn't answer it.
Swag Radio. Swagger all day, baby.
Man, you know I'm a rep West Philly wherever I go.
But you weren't ready for me.
Yo, shit, man, Mr. Cheeks in the building. You know what I'm tuned into. I'm out in Philly. I'm smoking good. And we tagged in to Swag Magazine, baby. That big itch.
You have to go completely off the grid.
This is Ray McCline, the president and founder of the Atlantic City Boxing Hall of Fame. I just want to give a shout out to Swag Radio.
What's up, y'all? This is Bo Legaloo from Full Force. This is Keanu Bryant, one of my many. And, no, I'm just kidding. And I'm here just chilling with my boys from Swag Radio. In the place to be, and they're kicking some freaking ass.
The future of radio. This is how we do it, baby.
But he's taught us to love because he's real. My God's real. He's real. Tell me that I love inside our hearts to
Yeah, we back. It's your boy Trainers in the Black Knight yet again. Ashy Knuckles is in the building. Actually, I put some lotion on the day when I got out the pool, but I'm still ashy.
Yay.
But Ms Wawa, please, Let them know about that fashion show on the Battleship, man, because that you had to put in so much work. You had people from all over the world that came to this fashion show, designers, musicians, and etc. So
This, oh my God, it was, oh my God, I was in awe. I every time I think about this, I literally get chills. So when I came up with this and I said, okay, it has to be, where can we have this show at? And for me, it was like a no-brainer to have it on the Battleship because I saw this and it was, you have the backdrop of the Philadelphia skyline. So I said, this is picture perfect. And I said, okay, so although we have this beautiful Battleship, we got to add more elements. I said, now where are we going to get these designers from? So me thinking, I'm like, let me check out all the designers here in Camden. Nobody in Camden wanted to be a part of it. Do you hear me? Nobody in Camden wanted to be a part of it. So then God said, I never told you to get the people from Camden. I told you to get the people outside of Camden, and the people from Camden will follow.
Yep.
And that's exactly what happened.
That's what happens.
See,
all the time.
we don't like the baby stages. We don't like the journey. We just like the end result. Right?
Yeah.
So I said, okay, I need to do some really smart marketing. I didn't have a lot of money or anything like that because the Battleship alone, I think it was like $5,000 or whatever the case may be. So I said, let me start with the designers. So when I started marketing, I got a billboard and I did some radio. I think I probably spent like $1,500 on some like radio time, but it was like the peak time, which was perfect. And you know where I got a lot of my listeners from, believe it or not?
WDS?
AM radio.
AM radio.
Yes. So I tell people, don't sleep on that because people are, look, even if it's the elder, they're going to tell their daughter going to tell their daughter. And it was, again, a trickle down effect. So we did FM, we did AM, I did a billboard. And one day I got this phone call and it was like, I'm not even gonna lie, it sounds like it was a mob boss. That's the kind of voice it gave me, like, hello, is this Wawa? And I said, it might be. Who's this? This is Sergio. And I said,
that's my
I'm
man.
sorry. And I said, I'm sorry, Sergio. Yeah, you can check out my Instagram. And I'm looking at his Instagram. I said, wait a minute, I've seen this guy before.
Sergio,
he's played on Power. He's played in movies with Jennifer Lopez.
He does all John's fashion shows. John kind of gave him his first start on the runway. Yep.
You serious? I did not. So you see how this comes full circle?
Yeah. When I seen him there, I was like, she got Sergio? I was excited. That's my man.
When he reached out to me, it was like, again, he reached out. And then I said, okay, let me put this out a little bit more. And when I did the show in New York, when I was the project manager there, I brought back their DJ. This was a banging white girl. You hear me? She'd done things for the award shows, all kinds of things. And she came and she said, I have someone that wants to be a part of your show. The whole Battleship, I think, really sold the concept.
It did, because it hasn't.
It was the Battleship.
It hasn't been done before, as far as my knowledge.
Right.
It was crazy.
Right. So we had designers from Hawaii, Paris, New York, Philadelphia. We had one that was like, I'm gonna say Cam Saukin.
Right.
But we had 9 designers. And when I say these designers were on fire. And then I was a partner with someone at a boutique in the Morristown Mall. And that's where I met the international model Netta, and we became really great friends.
Awesome.
I started traveling with her, and she was like, "Oh my God, you know what? You're smart. You ever thought about doing this?" And I'm pouring into her, and she's pouring into me. So when she popped up, because I thought she would be,
busy
somewhere in another country.
Yeah.
But when she came, it just warmed my heart. Like she wasn't just giving me lip service,
Right.
And she said, "Honey, I've done a lot of shows, but never on a Battleship."
Never. I'm telling you, it was so special and unique. I mean, I seen a lot of, not to cut you off, but I seen people on the sideline doing photo shoots because of the ambiance of the Battleship, by the guns, by the in the cow, but go ahead.
Yeah. And let me tell you, it was such a phenomenal show. And when I said people came from all over, and I said, my God, I said, these are the type of things that would make a person, no longer be afraid to come to the city. Okay. You're at the waterfront, you're safe.
It was safe.
I made sure that even when the people were at the the parking lot so far. We had golf carts,
Golf
you know,
carts. I drove.
transporting them
I
and
drove in
everything.
from my parking spot on a golf
Yeah.
cart. I felt
We just
special. I was like the
I didn't
president.
want no detail to be overlooked, you
Right.
know. And it took a lot of preparation and the makeup artist, you know, shout out to Crystal at Esiayah salon. She was the head of, you know, hair and makeup, and so many people just wanted to help, you know. And it was like, look, we don't want anything. I said, look, let me get this thing started, and as it progressed, yeah, you're gonna have to get this blessing, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I like to create win-win situations for our people. You
It was
understand what I'm saying?
beautiful. It was
Yeah, thank
beautiful.
you so much for
It was
that. Thank you
beautiful.
so
I
much.
mean, I go to John
Thank you.
Games fashion shows. I go to so many different fashion shows throughout my whole life doing this magazine thing I do. And that is hands down one of my favorite fashion shows I've
Oh,
ever been
thank
to.
you.
And I've been to New York, New York We fashion shows, Philly. That hands down. Beautiful.
Oh, thank
Beautiful
you.
stuff.
And the
And for
entertainment
that to
was
be your first show,
phenomenal.
that's crazy. That's
Oh,
crazy.
thank you.
That's crazy.
I'm an entertainer, so I love to see the reaction on people. You know, when I brought Munir from New York, and now Munir is from Camden. But when he plays that saxophone, it takes you
Bad man.
to another place.
So tell them about
You
some of
know?
the elements you had though. You had the musicians.
Yeah, we had the musicians. We had some singers. They had their original pieces. We had Jade. We had Munir. My son Rob, who is a phenomenal spoken word. Now
Yes.
he's doing his rap and everything. The Camden Sophisticated Sisters. They performed. They danced lovely that
Yes,
night.
they did.
It was just so beautiful.
And
Oh my
Miami,
God.
Miami just had that disaster that happened in Miami, and you had
Oh my God.
you had the gentleman from Miami who was representing.
He was from Hawaii.
Oh, Hawaii. I meant
Yeah,
Hawaii. That's what I
yes,
meant. Hawaii just
yes,
had that disaster. I'm
yes,
sorry.
yes,
Hawaii
yes.
just had
And
that disaster.
yeah, and he raised a lot of money because all of his proceeds, if anyone, you know, purchased his, went straight to, you know, his homeland, you know, to help some of the people trying to get their lives and things back
Right.
together. So that was amazing. When he came from Hawaii, I said, "Wait, you coming from where?" I
Yeah.
said, "Wait, you this is my show. I mean, this is my first year." Nobody believed that it was my first year.
Max Lewis, I think his name was.
That's exactly who it was, Max Lewis.
And he brought
He performed too.
he performed live, and he
did.
brought pieces that kids drew on or something.
Yes.
They
Yes, and
drew on,
it was so unique. Yes,
and
yes,
and the models wore it.
yes,
Went down the runway with it.
yes.
And it was beautiful.
And that was so beautiful. And that was another element. And I kind of got this from like the Victoria's Secret fashion show. Like I really wanted the element because I didn't think either one was going to take away from either. So you would have the person perform and have the models walk down. You know, you're still in awe by what you're hearing and what you're seeing. So
Right.
it's like, you know, you got that going on, you
Yeah.
know, and it was just
The artists, the fashion, the designers, the
Yes.
models, all at the same time on the
the
stage.
body art. We
The
also
body
had
art,
body art while we
beautiful.
were there. Yeah.
I said, why is
Plus
Wawa
models.
trying to make my big cry? Why is she trying to do that to me right now? I was in there just, I'm supposed to be taking pictures and videos and everything. The camera down like this, and I'm looking at the show like,
Yes,
nice.
yes.
It was beautiful.
Yes.
It was absolutely beautiful.
And it's so beautiful because what I love, and I mean really, really adore, I love when diversity, when we come together.
It was very diverse. You
It
had
was
all
very
walks of life
diverse.
there.
And that was an eye opener for a lot because they said, "Well, where you get these people from?" I said, "I don't know." God
You had
help me.
all walks of life there. I seen
Yeah.
Asian, black.
Korean, yes,
It was
honey.
all walks of life there. It was
Yes,
very
yes.
diverse. Everybody came together and had a
Yes.
great time.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it was hosted by the great legendary Miss Patty Jackson, right?
That's right. That's right. Miss
Beautiful.
Patty Jackson was in the room. She sure was.
Beautiful, beautiful,
Yes,
beautiful,
yes.
beautiful.
So
You are an you are an amazing person.
thank you.
The creator is definitely using you. You know what I mean?
He
And
is.
and on your worst days, I want you to know that we see you, sis. We see you.
Oh,
And we want you to keep being strong, keep doing what you're doing. It's not easy being used by the creator. It's tough. It's tough. Your emotions got to be intact. You know, you got to have tough skin. You know what I'm
Got
saying?
to. You got to.
Because
Because
you're
everybody gonna come for you. You
yes,
gotta be on your. You gotta
yes,
be on point.
yes.
But if you just cover yourself with the armor of God, like trust me, you're good.
And the people that you think are supposed to support you and help you, they never will. So
And I always tell people, train, worry about those who do.
who do?
And I always tell people, stop worrying about here. If there's a whole damn world out there, why are you just worried about here?
You know, it was one of the hardest things to do. Our
What?
first two issues, it was hard to get Camden artists to support us and to be in the magazine. We was begging people to be in the magazine that was from
I believe
Camden,
it.
begging
I
people.
believe it.
But at the
We,
five or
we
six,
don't like the journey, baby. We don't like the journey. We like the end result.
but at the 5-6 issues in, then they was like, "What's up? When I'm getting my turn to be in the magazine."
Right.
So we like, but now we got the next 5 covers are done. You know, we got to keep moving in the direction that the creator and the energy is taking us into, and we trying to explain that to them. Even if we can't put you on the cover, we got a 3-page story for you, and it was cover or nothing. You know, now they telling people that, you know, Swag Magazine don't represent Camden. What? Our first couple covers was people from Camden. You know,
And you know
Papa,
what?
Shaquille.
Let me tell you, because I know that's you also got to wear a tough skin. You know what I'm saying? But I thank God for your humility. You know, I know you don't do this alone and things like that. You know, nothing successful is ran by one person. Your team, my boy, you know who he is, Raw.
Yeah.
But you know, you guys, you
Ghostface.
you don't face. You right. You guys do such an amazing job, and
Thank you.
it's
We
okay
appreciate
because trust me, we know this, and that's why it was so important for me to acknowledge you at one of the shows. You know what I'm saying? Because you're an incredible
I wasn't
human
going. I
being
wasn't
that
going to
gets
talk about
overlooked.
that. I
Well,
was.
I was.
I wasn't. I didn't want to
I couldn't
cry.
have this talk and not think about you. And let me just also say how you were the one that introduced me to Mr. John Blassingame, and then once that came also full circle, not realizing Will Packer, who I have a movie that will be coming out. I didn't know the connection between Will Packer and John Blassingame.
Yeah.
Mr. John Blassingame helped them with this
He's
film. And
helped him start his first
I'm
film.
like, Train, introduce me to this man.
Right.
Like, I'm not supposed to know him.
Indeed.
You know? And now he calls me on the regular, like, hey, you want to be on a podcast? Like, hey, you want to be
Yeah.
in a magazine? Hey, you want I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I know this man.
And I loved your interview on Scars
Oh, thank you.
podcast. And then John was
Thank
like,
you.
"Yo, I want you to be on Scars." And I was like, "Well, you got Wawa too. You got." He said, "Yeah, that's right. You got her number." I said, "John, I gave you her number." He said, "I got it." I said, "You got it." And then I said, "I send it to you again." And then I guess he got the guy from Scars to call you.
Yes, he did.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
he
it's just like,
did.
listen, man, it's a family affair. So when I got this award, I got to tell the people real quick.
Okay.
Ms Wawa told me to come to the show, and she had something for me. That's all she said. I'm thinking I got all my camera equipment and everything. I'm going there to work, and then my daughters pop up. I'm like, okay, what's going on? And they said, nothing, Dad. We gonna have fun. You got a good show tonight. I said, okay. So I'm at the show, and then Ms. Wawa get her team or somebody from her team to sit me up front. Now I'm sitting up front with a lot of people that I love and respect. You know, what's coming from the karate school, Miss, and I'm like, what's going on? And then you call me up on stage for this award. My legs is buckling. I'm all getting all sweaty and
You were so cute.
That was so tough for me, man. And then you gave me that award, and all I could do is try to the whole time. Don't cry. Don't cry. Just don't cry. It was a beautiful thing. And I love you, sis. I appreciate you for that. And it was a beautiful thing. It's in my mama's house right now. My mom loves it. She won't even let me take it. Yeah, I can't take it. I couldn't take it if
These
she
my babies right here. This my babies.
yeah, she won't let me touch it. But thank you. I appreciate that immensely.
Absolutely.
You know, and even though we don't do nothing that we do for that, but it's a beautiful thing to just for people to say thank you or to acknowledge you. It's a beautiful thing, man.
Absolutely.
We're human at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We need that. You know, just some appreciation, goes a long way.
Yes, it does.
You know what I'm
Yes, it
saying?
does.
But I've been watching you close and afar, and I'm like, he's really doing it, and he's putting people on, and you're like the plug. You understand what I'm saying?
I try to introduce good people to good people.
Yeah. You're not a gatekeeper, and that's what people should be that's what we should be embracing, you know, because I don't want to take the knowledge to the grave. Wherever I know, I'm pouring into young people all the time,
Right.
or whoever wants to step in my place. I'm like, baby, how many years you think I got doing this? I have to pass this torch, you know. So this is why I choose to other things that that's going to pique my interest and things like that, from fashion to singing to everything, whatever God leads me.
We track and field runners, man. We have to pass that baton. We can't keep it. It ain't ours to keep.
That's
It
right.
ain't ours to keep. So real quick, Ms. Wawa, anything you want to say to the people before we part ways?
I just want to say, you know, keep tracking us, seeing what the baby's got going on, see what I have going on. I'm always doing different bookings for shows, whether it's for the kids, whether it's me singing, whether it's fashion, whether it's the marketplace. Keep up.
Indeed. And how can they look at the TV shows you was on? How can they check out the fashion shows? How can they check out clips from what the kids be doing, the CCI and all that? How can they check that out?
Well, you know, we have the beautiful world of Google, right? You can Google Tawanda Jones, Camden, New Jersey, or you can go to the Camden Sophisticated Sisters website at www.cssdrillteam.org. Follow us on all of our platforms, from Instagram and Facebook, Twitter. We have it all. And if you want more information, you know, you can also call the line 856-426-8674, and someone will be able to direct you.
There it is. Y'all heard it from the queen, man. That's my queen right there. I love this woman. I'm gonna keep loving this woman. You keep loving the babies, and we love you over here, sis, at Swag Magazine, Swag Radio.
Love you much. God bless you.
You're listening to Swag Radio. Turn it up. The future of radio. This is how we do it, baby.